so excited about this. I'm going to move the tray out of the way. I'm excited about this, super excited about it for several reasons. I'll start by saying purple is not my favorite color. Never really has been. I don't hate it. I just don't like it as much as other colors, and I don't use it a whole lot. But I got a wild idea one day as I was doing some designing, and I started playing around with this purple damask, several different versions of the purple damask, and I really liked it. And I immediately thought of someone in my world that I adore that has been super, super influential in my world, always supportive, and she is a purple person. She adores purple. Her business brand is purple. And so as I was designing this kit, I was kind of designing it with her in mind, which makes it extremely exciting for me. Very rarely do I design a kit or put together a junk journal that is specifically for someone. I have done it in the past. I've done it for loved ones and people that were close to me. I just haven't had the desire to create one for somebody else until I started playing around with this purple. And so I was thinking about the friend of mine that I would like to give something to. So as I was creating this template and as I am putting it together, she will be the intended recipient, and I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited about it because this is the first kit that I have designed that has my new expanded ephemera kit. There's still envelopes, there's still tags, but the ephemera kit is so much bigger and more in depth than any of the kits I've done in the past have been. And this kit, this mega kit, has a multi-packet folio. The folios that you probably have seen or may have seen with some of my previously designed kits was just a very simple two folds, three, kind of two sides and a cover, very simple little folio. This one is not simple. It's easy to put together, but I wouldn't say it's simple. There's lots of tuck spots, lots of pockets, lots of areas to craft and collage and add interest to. So this mega kit is so much bigger. Plus, another new thing in this kit is instead of having to figure out how to print a page and use it as a fold out, this one comes with the fold out pages. Took me a little bit to design them in a way that was easy to work with, but I think I've accomplished that. So instead of having to, you've seen in some of my previous videos, I would just print extra pages and then just kind of trim it down to make it fit for a fold out. Here we have some that will work without you really having to do anything. Once you cut them out and fold them in two, they will just fit perfectly lengthwise, but then they'll also, once they're folded, they'll fold nicely without you having to trim off any of the design. So there's two of these fold out pieces in this kit that I'm very excited about. These are the pages. I have not torn the pages. As you may have heard me say in the past, my printer does weird things when I print all the way to the edge. Sometimes it bleeds onto the back, and that can mess up the design on the back when I'm printing two-sided. So I always print with this little tiny white area on the edge, and then that gives me a place to either cut or trim off that. And I will do that. I will tear. These will be torn. And if you want to see how I do that, it's really just simple. It takes some focus, but it's not difficult. Just put this metal ruler right down on that white piece, hold it firmly, and then pull up, and now I've got an edge, a fairly clean edge, but it's not a perfect edge. And I like that because it will be nice to have the signature, when all the pages are together and folded, they won't be all perfectly straight, and it just kind of adds character. So I will tear all of these off like that. I will, haven't decided exactly, I'm going to find the cover. Here's the cover. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to bind it. I will either bind it with a fabric binding or the same way that I'm going to bind the Faded Elegance one, and it just kind of makes it more of a book shape than a fold. So I haven't decided yet. I will come back and show you when I get to that point, show you how I decided to do it, and we'll go from there. I have gathered some things to put with it that I just had around the house. I had some of this music paper, and I do know that the person that will end up with this journal at some point is loves to dance and enjoys music. So I'm gonna make some extra pages to put do something with them. I don't know exactly what I'll do with them, but they're gonna go in there too. I found an envelope in my stash that's purplish and kind of blends with this style and color scheme, so I'm going to use that. Maybe I've got a couple pieces of scrap paper here that may go into some collage type. I found this motivational card that I had made a while back that I think is perfect for the person who will end up with this journal. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. Got a couple little pieces of motivational sayings. I've got some lace. I've got this really pretty piece of fabric that's got a nice scallop edge on it that may end up in there somewhere. Some purple ribbon and a fabric swipe that may possibly end up on some of the tags somehow. A little scrap piece of book page. Got a couple of purple butterfly stickers. There's another motivational type. They've got a tag, some chiffon ribbon, some, I don't remember what this was off of, but I've used this on other things. I've had this piece of it for a while, and I just think it's gorgeous. And so it may end up as part of this journal at some point, maybe on the cover, maybe on the, I don't know. It may end up in this journal at some point. And I've had this, this is a beaded fringe that I have had. It's 2 yards. It's not even open. I bought it on special, on sale somewhere, probably at least 15 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And every time I go through my stash and start to weed some things out, I think, I'm probably never going to use that. Purple is not my color. But I've held on to it because I just think it's so fun. And so now that I'm doing this journal, I'm like, I have got to put some of this beaded fringe in this journal somewhere, or on the outside or something. So I don't know where it will end up, but look how fun. I'm not going to unwrap it or unroll it just yet because I don't want it to get all tangled up, but how fun. I just cannot wait to see what it looks like when we get to that point. So I don't think, I did pull out some paper dolls. Actually, I pulled out a stack of paper dolls. Some of them, one or two of them may end up in here. I don't know. You guys know I like using the Angel Ladies. Sometimes I like using the Fashionista ones because it just adds an unexpected little whimsical piece. She would blend really well, but she's awful big, so I don't know if she will fit. But blending is not really what these are about. It's more about the unexpected, the uniqueness of putting a paper doll in a journal. So I don't know if there'll be one in this one when it's all said and done. It might be an angel lady, might be a fashionista, I don't know. I did also find in my stash these two, there's a crown and a top hat that I had made. I don't know, they may end up in there as well, or they may end up on one of these paper dolls. Who knows? I may try a closure either with the new multi-pocket folio or with the journal itself. I may try a closure with magnets. I haven't done one like that in a long time, and I actually have forgotten how I did it. So I may try a closure of some sort with this one with magnets. And then here's a little swatch of twine that may end up being in here somewhere as well. So I'm really excited about this kit. I'm really excited to get started. Excited to see what it looks like. I hope that I will be excited to give it away. Sometimes when I get really excited about putting something like this together, creating something that I think is gorgeous and meaningful, sometimes it's kind of hard to give it away. But I know who it's intended for, and I promise you she is going to end up with it, even if it's hard for me to give it away. So stay tuned. We'll come back and we'll talk about binding when I get some of this stuff a little further along. All right, so I told you I would come back when I was ready to bind, when I had decided how I was going to bind this journal, and when I was ready, I would come back and show you. So after, I'm not sure if you've watched the Fade Elegance video or not, but if you did, you know that I had a really hard time with doing a true book squared off binding. Didn't turn out like I had hoped or planned. So I decided, since this one is ultra special and is going to someone very special, that I wanted to make it in a way that I knew was going to be successful versus trying something that I haven't tried before. So I went with my trusty fabric binding concept. Before I get to that, I have done some of the prep work. I have scored and inked and cut holes, and I have put ribbon on the tags and things like that, and I have assembled the folio, the multi-pocket folio. So let me show you that first, and then I'm going to show you what this binding is going to look like. I haven't quite finished, as you can see, but it's got an elastic binding, and I'm just so thrilled with this folio. Look at this. We've got a belly band here with a bookmark. We've got a ticket here. We've got a insert there. We've got an insert there. We've got an insert there. We have an insert here, and we have another pocket here and another pocket here. So we've got all those places to put these tags and inserts, and then it all folds up nice in this nice little folio. I'm just excited. I'm excited about that. That turned out really well. This is the first one that I have done from start to finish that was not practice. So I was very pleased with how that turned out. All right, now to the binding process. So I want to do it the fabric binding like we have done on several before, and I was really excited about that. But then I was like, as I mentioned to you earlier, purple's not really my thing. I don't know if I have any fabric. So I looked through my stash. I did not have any I didn't have any lavender, purple, plum colored fabric scraps at all. Not in any of my stashes. Not in my sewing stashes. Not in my upholstery sample stash. I didn't even have any wallpaper that had these colors in it. But I just happened to need to move a box when I was looking for something else. And when I moved this particular box, as soon as I touched it, I was like, you know what? There's chenille scraps in here. They're really small, but I think there's a lavender one in there. So I opened up the box and look what I found. All of the other scraps that were in there were like this, like 4x4 square, 5x5 square. This is the only long scrap in there, and it is absolutely the perfect color. Look at that. Look how amazing that is going to look. I'm so excited I can't even see straight. Now, I really did like this binding, and I was hoping to have something similar to it, but I can tell you that I'm going to be just as happy with this chenille. I'm so thrilled. I did go ahead and put the bookbinding tape on it because chenille is, as you know, a little stretchy and a little thin in places that doesn't have the furry stuff. So I did reinforce it with some bookbinding tape, but I think it's going to be absolutely lovely, and I cannot wait. Look at that. Look what that'll look like. Ugh, I'm just so excited. So that's the next step. The next step will be to bind it, get the spine on it, and get that put together, and then I will start on the internal pages. This one, very similar to most of the others that I have done. All of them have been, all the pages have been printed on cardstock. I tore the edges. The edges will get ink, so as you can see, they're not going to be all precise and perfect, but I'm on my way to loving this Plum Petal kit, even more so than I already do. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more progress. All right, I'm excited to show you the finished product. I'm very excited about this one, as I've said multiple times. I only used a small piece of this fringe that I showed you. It is absolutely glorious, but it is a bear to work with once you get it out and start working with it. The little pieces come off everywhere when you cut it. It was fine until I cut a piece, and then it's hard to keep it together. I'll need to try something different next time, but I'll show you where I put a small piece just to get the kind of the whimsy flair. And then the rest of this is going to have to be for something else. I don't know what, but something else. I did have some scraps of the chenille left over, some scraps of lace, a little scrap of this fabric. I did use a couple of small pieces of that, and then I did have a couple pieces, couple of page tabs that I didn't use, and a couple scraps of ribbon and fabric that I didn't need. So there's my little envelope. You guys know by now I always keep these pieces, extra pieces, in an envelope near the journal, because I will go through this journal multiple times over the next week or so before it gets shipped off to its new home. And every time I pick it up, I may say, oh, I need to add this, or I need to do this, or I need to tweak that. So I'll keep these pieces together for a little bit in this envelope, and then they'll get restocked with the rest of my stuff. So here we go. Here we have the, I'm really in love with it. I think I told you early on, purple is not my #1 favorite color. I don't dislike it. It just has not ever been my favorite, but I really think this turned out wonderfully, and I'm in love with it. I had the chenille on the binding. I love it. I love the chenille look. This is vintage chenille, so it's a little thin. It's been reinforced with book tape, as you can kind of see. But I also felt that it looked a little plain, so I wanted to dress it up a little bit. So I just put a small piece of that fabric with the embroidered ribbon on it, and then I trimmed it with a small piece of this fringe that has the little little bead dangles. I don't know if you can see those little bead dangles, and then these wild little hair pieces. And I just thought that added a little bit of whimsy and it's just fun. It's just a fun look. I closed it by using elastic cord attached to the booklet with a piece of the ephemera. That holds it together nicely. I did go back and put in a trim of lace on the front and back cover, so you can see on the inside, since it was after the book was assembled, you can see the lace on the inside, but I don't mind that. I think that's almost a pretty edge to it, so I don't mind that at all. It's got a label in the front, so if the owner wants to write "This journal belongs to," they've got a place to do that. Put one of the postage stamps from the ephemera kit there. This one has a page tab on it. This is actually a fold out. This is one of the first kits, I think I mentioned, that came with pages intended to be fold outs instead of having to modify a page to a fold out if that's what you wanted. I'm obsessed with fold out pages. I almost always have a envelope fold out and then a page or two fold out, but this kit comes with 2 of these fold out pages. And the neat thing is, once you fold them and decide where you're going to attach them, and I attached with just a little bit of glue and some masking tape, I decided to only seal or only close up this end. So once you fold it and attach it here, I folded up, or I closed up this end, so this end leaves us a pocket. So in this pocket, we've got a library card with a tab. So there's a nice little pocket there in that fold out. There's a insert here, or a tuck spot here with one of the bookmarks that comes, or one of the tags that comes with the tags, an envelope piece of this mega kit. This envelope was one that I had that just kind of blended because of the colors. Added it to this page as a fold out, and then it has 2 of the journal cards stuck in there. Did a little collaging on the side that had the envelope flap, another page tag or page tab there. Put one of the slides at the bottom of this page, and then this is, you've seen me use this type of elastic before. I have several rolls of this. It is elastic in the center, and then it has this organza or some sort of sheer fabric. It has a ruffle on either side, but it's stretchy. So just a little tiny piece. People laugh at me for keeping scraps of this, but a piece about this big made this nice little pen holder. This is actually a pencil. And it's just real simple. You just fold it and make sure it's glued really tightly underneath a piece of the ephemera or whatever you want to put under, put over there. Just glue it in there, and now you have this nice little pen holder as part of your journal. Here's the library pocket with a bookmark in it, and the bookmark is just one of the plain bookmarks that I added some lace to the back, and then I added some a paper scrap that I had laying around to the back, just to dress it up a little bit. Here's these pages. These pages were so pretty in the kit already, I didn't have to do anything to them. This page has a tuck spot and one of the tags from the kit. These tags I did, there's 8 tags in this mega kit, and in the tags and envelopes kit. Instead of having 8 tags, I have 4 tags because I glued them back to back. I wanted a thicker, dressier tag, so I didn't want one that was completely blank on one side, so I glued them together. So this is a nice sturdy tag that you can use for a lot of things. Bookmark, gift tag. You could even just put a stamp on it and mail this if you wanted to. But I just wanted one that was a little thicker, so that is 2 of the tags glued together. Got a little piece of reminder, motivating reminder here. A little, nothing didn't have anything to do here. Didn't do anything to these pages. Didn't do anything here. Added a little corner tuck spot there, and the small photo Polaroid is in there. Got a page tab on this one. This was that piece that I showed you earlier that I've just had laying around that I made a long time ago, and I decided it was perfect for this project. Not only does it blend in color, but that saying is basically the epitome of the person that this journal is going to end up with. She absolutely requires no validation. She is a mega woman in her own right. Got another little corner spot here, one of the pieces of torn paper ephemera. I just use it as a tuck spot, and it's got one of the journal cards in it. The same with the journal cards and the tags. I wanted the journal cards to be a little thicker and a little sturdier than just one sheet of cardstock. So I did print all 8 of the journal cards, but I only ended up 4 because I glued them back to back. So they have a nice pretty design on both sides. Didn't do anything to those pages. These pages are straight out of the kit, here. Put a page tag on there. This is the belly band that comes with the kit, and one of the journal cards, double-sided journal cards, tucked in the little belly band here. Straight out of the kit, with the exception of one piece of torn ephemera that I put right there. Straight out of the kit, with the exception of the butterfly sticker. I did do a collage on this music page. If you'll recall, this music page, there was 2 pages of this that I pulled out and put with the kit. So these music pages, there's 4 pages because there's 2 pages folded together. So I put one in each signature, so there's 4 pages of these music pages in this book that I added that did not come with the kit. And I'm going to do another video showing you how to do that and how you can do that on any piece of paper. It's really easy. This is just a piece of that fabric that I glued down. I'm fine with it like it is. This is another one of the fold outs that I also left one side open so that I had a tuck spot. This has 2 of the envelopes that came with the ephemera kit. They're empty right now, but there's a page tag on here as well. Here's the fold out. Oh, that's the envelope. I'm like, what is that? There we go. Here's the fold out. Another little tuck spot with another one of the 2-sided bookmarks tucked down in there. Here is the multi-pocket folio that I showed you earlier in the video. I think I showed it to you when I was finished. We'll look at it real quickly. No enclosure because it's got the elastic enclosure. Lots of tuck spots, lots of little nooks and crannies in this one, and I'm absolutely in love with it. This is the first kit that comes with this new multi-pocket folio, and I love how it's just thick enough to really kind of add some bulk to it, but not too thick to include in your journal. So this one just kind of lays inside this tuck spot, and that's where it resides. Did a little collage with some of the ephemera pieces here and an old book page. That's the puzzle piece and one of the stamps. Plain pages, didn't do anything to these pages. Nothing to these pages, nothing to these pages. Did put the one little piece of ephemera here that is a little tuck spot, and then a bookmark with a tag on the side that I stuck in that little spot there. A little small collage here on this side of the music page. Plenty of space for note taking or journaling or sketching. And then one more tuck spot here with one of the 2-sided tags here, and then the final page and the inside back cover and the lace. And so there we have it, book, and I'm thrilled with it, and I cannot wait to send it to its home. I hope she loves it as much as I loved doing it for her, and I really think that I'm going to make a conscious effort to design kits for the people that I know in my world that I adore, because it was so much fun designing this kit with her in mind, picking out the colors and the flair, and knew that I wanted it a little whimsy, a little elegant, but also with the purple and plums and lavenders throughout. I'm not sure how she where she lands with the whole vintage look, but I certainly adore the vintage worn look. And I think she will appreciate that as an art strategy. So I'm really excited to send this to her. I hope you enjoyed looking at it, watching the process, and I hope you enjoy making your own. See you next time.